There is the sound of fear in his voice, a sudden gasp, a stutter, or a suppressed scream. And then there is the sound of stark terror, an adult losing all control, blubbering and gasping for breath like a kid facing their worst nightmare. That sound of unimaginable terror is what a psychiatrist recorded when he put a man named Barney Hill under hypnosis in his office one day in 1964. Hill was a World War II vet, a big guy with a Darth Vader baritone voice and an IQ of 140. But when the psychiatrist asked him to relive a fateful night 3 years earlier, he broke down in hysterical sobbing. He said he and his wife Betty were tracked by a mysterious light on an isolated highway in the New Hampshire mountains one night and abducted by humanoid creatures in a UFO who forced them to undergo medical examinations. This was the first publicized alien abduction case reported worldwide. Incidents of contact with beings reported to be from other planets are a phenomenon that played a part in characterizing the 20th century. For many skeptics, these stories are nothing more than the result of charlatans looking for attention. But for many others, these stories are widely believed to be true. From sinister alien abductions, medical experiments, and extraterrestrial coitus, here are the top 3 unexplained alien abduction cases. Actually, let's make it 4 cases. Things are about to get weird. The first widely reported incident of alien abduction in the United States happened on September 19, 1961, in a rural part of New Hampshire. Betty and Barney Hill were driving back from a vacation in Montreal and Niagara Falls at night. While Barney was driving, Betty noticed a light in the sky that looked like a shooting star but was moving erratically, including vertically. She urged her husband to stop the car, and they pulled over at a picnic spot near Twin Mountain. With them was their dog, Delcy. They both exited their vehicle and took turns with their binoculars looking at the object, which was clearly visible and traveling across the face of the moon. Betty's sister had claimed to have seen a flying saucer before, so Betty was confident that this was what she was observing. Barney, however, was not convinced. He thought it was a commercial airliner until it rapidly changed direction and moved toward them. He realized there was no possible way it could be an airplane. They got back in their car and drove off slowly, following the object as it slowly descended and flew over the surrounding area. Betty claimed that the craft was longer than 60 feet and seemed to be rotating. Suddenly, the craft zoomed toward Betty and Barney. They stopped the car and Barney got out. The craft was close, and Barney could see figures through windows. One of the beings communicated the message, "Stay where you are and keep looking." That was one of the last things Betty and Barney would remember that night. When they woke up, they felt uneasy and knew that something had happened, but their memories had disappeared. When they got home, they noticed their watches had stopped working. Barney's shoes were scuffed, and Betty's dress had been ripped at the hem and had a strange pink powder on it. Several days afterward, Betty started having dreams in which she and her husband were stopped by short gray men wearing blue suits and military-style cadet caps who took them into the forest. In her dreams, she recalled being in a trance. Later, both Barney and Betty would undergo hypnosis sessions to regain their lost memories. Barney recalled being told to close his eyes and being put into a trance-like state. He remembered the beings mumbling in a strange language, but communicating with him via telepathy, telling him not to be afraid. During the hypnosis sessions, Betty's recollections closely matched Barney's memories of the event. Both described being taken aboard a spacecraft by humanoid beings and subjected to medical examinations. However, there were slight discrepancies between Betty's memories and her initial dreams about the encounter. These differences mainly pertained to minor details such as the appearance of the beings, the technology aboard the spacecraft, and the sequence of events leading up to and during the abduction. One of the most intriguing aspects of Betty's recollections was her description of a star map that she claimed to have seen aboard the spacecraft. According to Betty, she was shown a map displaying various celestial bodies, which she later sketched from memory. This star map was later analyzed by Marjorie Fish, an amateur astronomer, who attempted to match it to known star systems. After extensive research and analysis, Fish concluded that the map bore a striking resemblance to the Zeta Reticuli star system. The Zeta Reticuli system is a binary star system located approximately 39 light-years from Earth. It consists of 2 stars, Zeta 1 Reticuli and Zeta 2 Reticuli, which are similar in size and spectral type to the Sun. The system has been of interest to astronomers and ufologists due to its proximity to Earth and its potential to harbor habitable planet. Interestingly, this is where the gray aliens are known to be from. On October 16, 1957, while working at night on his family farm in Brazil, 23-year-old Antonio Villas-Boas reported being abducted by extraterrestrials. He described encountering a large egg-shaped craft with a cupola on top, emitting a rotating red light. As the craft landed on 3 extended legs, several 5-foot-tall beings emerged, wearing gray overalls and helmets. Antonio attempted to flee on his tractor, but it malfunctioned, forcing him to continue on foot. He was eventually captured by the beings, who removed their helmets to reveal small blue eyes and communicated through grunts. Stripped naked and covered in a gel, Antonio was taken aboard the ship, passing through a doorway adorned with red symbols. He recalled these symbols vividly. Blood samples were taken from his chin, after which he was left alone in a room filled with gas, inducing nausea. Upon its dissipation, a naked female alien described as attractive with platinum blonde hair, red pubic hair, a pointed chin, and large cat-like eyes joined him. They engaged in intercourse, during which she nipped him on the chin instead of kissing. Afterwards, she smiled, patted her belly, gestured upwards, and departed. Antonio was returned clothed and given a tour of the ship before being escorted off. Upon returning home, he realized 4 hours had elapsed. A subsequent medical examination revealed he was suffering from mild radiation sickness. The appearance of the female alien described by Antonio Villas-Boas bears similarities to common depictions of extraterrestrial beings reported in other abduction cases. Based on the description provided, the appearance of the female alien described by Antonio Villas-Boas shares similarities with the commonly reported Nordic or Pleiadian type of extraterrestrial beings in ufology. These beings are typically described as humanoid in appearance, with features such as fair or platinum blonde hair, elongated faces, large eyes resembling those of cats or other animals, and slender, graceful physiques. The description of platinum blonde hair, pointed chin, and large cat-like eyes aligns with characteristics commonly associated with Nordic or Pleiadian aliens, as reported in various abduction cases and contactee accounts. On October 11, 1973, Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson were fishing on the banks of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi when they were seemingly abducted by extraterrestrial beings. Parker initially noticed blue lights reflecting off the water, mistaking them for police car lights, before a large football-shaped aircraft descended from the clouds in eerie silence, emitting only a hissing sound. 3 creatures emerged from the craft, described by Parker as having pincer-like hands and robotic slits for mouths, with one being necklace and gray, and the other 2 having more feminine shapes. The beings approached Parker and Hickson, wrapping their pincers around their necks without resistance from the fishermen, who felt numbness and an absence of fear. They were taken aboard the spaceship and subjected to experimentation. Hickson recalled a large machine resembling a giant eye scanning his body while surrounded by 5-foot-tall beings. After their return to the riverbank, they reported the incident to the police, initially met with skepticism until an unplanned conversation between the 2 men in a recorded interrogation room lent credibility to their account. Decades later, Parker wrote a book about the experience following Hickson's death in 2011, prompting other witnesses from the area to come forward with similar sightings of a UFO that night. Travis Walton, an American forestry worker, was part of a logging crew in Apache Sitgreaves National Forest in Arizona. On November 5, 1975, Walton and 6 of his colleagues were driving home after a day's work when they encountered a strange, saucer-shaped object hovering above the trees. Intrigued and perhaps emboldened by curiosity, Walton exited the truck to get a closer look at the mysterious craft. As Walton approached the object, a beam of light suddenly shot out from the craft, striking him and knocking him to the ground. Startled and terrified, Walton's co-workers, fearing for their safety, fled the scene in panic, leaving Walton behind. When they returned moments later, expecting to find Walton injured but alive, there was no sign of him. He had seemingly vanished without a trace. The sudden and unexplained disappearance of Travis Walton sparked an extensive search effort involving local law enforcement, volunteers, and even the military. For days, search parties scoured the dense forest, hoping to find any clue to Walton's whereabouts. However, their efforts yielded no results, and Walton remained missing. Then, 5 days after his disappearance, Travis Walton reappeared under bewildering circumstances. He was discovered walking along a highway, disoriented and visibly shaken. Walton claimed to have no memory of what had happened to him during the 5 days he was missing, only vague, fragmented recollections of being inside a strange, otherworldly craft and encountering bizarre, non-human entities. According to Walton's account, he awoke aboard the craft in a sterile, hospital-like environment, surrounded by 3 short, hairless beings. He described these beings as resembling typical depictions of extraterrestrial creatures, with large, dark eyes, hairless heads, and spindly limbs. Walton claimed to have been subjected to various medical procedures and experiments during his time aboard the craft, including examinations and the placement of a transparent mask over his face. Despite Walton's detailed and seemingly sincere recollections of his abduction experience, his story was met with skepticism and disbelief by many. Some questioned the reliability of Walton's memories, suggesting that they might be the product of trauma, hallucination, or even deliberate fabrication. However, Walton's story gained traction and credibility when all 6 of his co-workers underwent polygraph examinations, which indicated that they were telling the truth about what they had witnessed on the night of Walton's disappearance. In the years following his abduction experience, Travis Walton has remained steadfast in his claims, often speaking publicly about his ordeal and advocating for further research into the phenomenon of alien abduction. His story has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even a major motion picture, Fire in the Sky, 1993, which brought renewed attention to the case. Despite ongoing debates and skepticism surrounding the Travis Walton case, it remains one of the most intriguing and enduring mysteries in the annals of ufology. Whether one believes Walton's account or not, his story continues to captivate the imagination and spark curiosity about the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. The accounts of alien abduction presented in these cases evoke a profound sense of fear and intrigue, challenging our understanding of the universe and our place within it. From the harrowing experiences of Barney and Betty Hill to the bizarre encounters of Antonio Villas-Boas, Calvin Parker, Charles Hickson, and Travis Walton, these stories compel us to confront the unknown and contemplate the existence of life beyond our world. While skepticism abounds and explanations vary, the enduring mystery surrounding these events invites further exploration and inquiry into the nature of extraterrestrial phenomena. Whether viewed as elaborate hoaxes, hallucinations, or genuine encounters with beings from another realm, the impact of these stories resonates far beyond the realm of ufology, shaping our cultural imagination and sparking dialogue about the mysteries of the cosmos. So as we come to an end, I have a question for you. Have you ever had an experience like this? If so, please share your experience down below in the comment section. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe for more. This is Top 3 TV, and I'm out of here.